Is that better? Okay. Is it gonna crash again? Are we good? I'm gonna give it a minute.
Let's find out.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still doing a thing. So, when you live stream these videos this way, they're live right now, but then they also actually get published to YouTube.
Okay.
So, if you want to be like a really effective YouTuber and not have to spend a whole lot of time making the videos, ideally you just live stream when you're recording. And yeah, exactly. That would be the most efficient usage. Hey, there's actually people. That means they're kind of connected.
Whoa.
What's up, guys? Hello, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't think that name was meant to be pronounced.
Okay.
This is Lucas. We're on our way back to Reston from Wheeling, West Virginia. And I haven't done any videos recently, which is bad, and I apologize. I'm taking a mini break. What's up, Mary? Mary says hello.
Mary? Hi, Mary.
Lucas says hello. Hey, Andrew. Whittington. Not the Andrew we know. Sounds close, though. Whitty is close to Whittington.
Hi, Andrew.
How bad is the buzz, guys? Can you hear this? Because we're in a car. This is not an ideal recording scenario. Hello, Jamal.
The engine's having fun. A lot of fun.
Mary got a job. That's cool. That's awesome. Hey, John. I hope that the signal lasts long enough for me to actually, I don't know. This will be cool.
I'm excited, too.
What's up, Dropship Professor and Entrepreneur something and Rob P? Yeah, this is Lucas.
Hi.
Awesome. Andrew says that the buzz isn't that bad.
Cool. Surprising.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising. I'm also surprised this is even working at all. It's kind of absurd. It's cool that you can see, I'd never done this on the phone before, and they just show the little chat as a bubble over the... Oh, shaky. Rob P says hello, Lucas.
Hello, Rob P.
What's up, Rich Price? We're going to Reston, Virginia, from Wheeling, so it's like a 5-hour drive. Lucas lives in Reston, so I spend half my time, Lucas and Eric in Reston. Eric is the other person in the systematical thing. And that's Lucas's roommate. And then the rest of my time I spent in Wheeling. Lucas just visited and stayed with us in Wheeling for a couple of days. And now I'm going back there. I'm not driving. Lucas you haven't been looking at the camera thing, have you?
Not that often.
That's good. Someone said to look at the road. Important. I don't have to look at the road. Well, I mean, I feel like as a passenger, you kind of have a little bit of an obligation to look at the road.
A little bit, but not that much.
Depends who's driving. Depends how much you trust who's driving.
It really just depends on how much you want to yell before the accident, if there's going to be one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder how many accidents have been caused because the passenger freaked out about something.
Most accidents are from overcorrection, right?
Yeah, overcorrection.
So probably a lot.
Yeah. Once I was driving with somebody and the person tried to change the gears while I was driving. And
That's not good.
It was bad, yeah. Not good. I need to look at the chat. Ugh, I have to keep my... Yeah, it's much better to be the passenger. Oh, a dropship thing. Okay, Dropship Professor says, I have 2 days of slow sales and 2 days of awesome sales. Welcome to e-commerce. That's how it is. and eventually you can scale big enough where you have a sense of regularity. One second, I can't see. Sharif Zine says, what is the difference between shipping and... How do I get the chat show up better? Live chat, there we go. What is the difference between shipping and pickup for Walmart? So Walmart and go pick the item up at the actual store. This is because so many people in the United States purchase everything they own, like their groceries, all that stuff, from Walmart. Walmart is like, it's like the biggest distributor of products in the States, right? Like when it comes to physical.
Yeah, when it comes to retail stores, yeah,
and like groceries.
But I think Amazon does have them beating net sales in the US.
Yeah, but if you're not talking about e-commerce stuff.
Yeah, if you're just talking about physical purchases, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can like get a discount basically if you order something on their website, and then they don't have to ship it to you. They just have it at their closest Walmart to you that you were going to go to anyway, right? So then they can like give you, it's usually really a pretty minimal discount. You're talking about like 1 to 5%, that kind of thing. Are we back? Yeah, I'm not the driver. Well, I'm back now. Okay. Nas Noka says, what is the most useful tool for dropshipping for beginners? It depends what you're trying to do, and it depends on what platform you're using, but if you're a beginner, then you should probably start on eBay because it's the most approachable. So any tool that allows you to list and have repricing without a financial commitment is ideal as a beginner, because you want to have not a 2-week free trial or something. It's based on size of your store. That way, if you're only ever going to post 10 listings, you don't need to have any financial commitment.
Definitely not.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Are we back? Oh man. Okay. Yeah, so useful wise for beginners, I would say DSM Tool, AutoDS, Hustle.Reel. Those are 3 that you should check out. Yeah? Yeah, sorry, I know you guys lost me. I hope you can hear me now though. Hustle.Reel, AutoDS, DSM Tool. Check the 3 of those out, watch some videos about them. They're solid. I'm actually using AutoDS, which wasn't planned, but I'll do some videos about that because I haven't done any videos about like direct dropshipping stuff that I'm doing at the moment recently. But that's okay. Sometimes it's good to just take a couple days. It's not like I don't think I could ever stop making video. Like something serious would have to happen. I could like actually stop doing that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Johnny Green says, I'm new to dropshipping also. Does Walmart ship international and the... Oh my gosh, how do I stop the chat things from disappearing? Hey, Walmart does ship international. What are you talking about? Well, okay. No. Yeah. There's a distinction here. Walmart won't ship to an international address, but they will ship to a freight forwarder, which is what you need in order to use something like GSP. But there's almost no services that offer like actual international shipping. Some do, but very few. Yeah, the tools that you want, Carlos, or the good tools for beginners would be look into AutoDSTools, DSM Tool, and Hustle.Reel. I personally don't have any experience with Hustle.Reel, but I know enough about its reputation that it's pretty good. So Walmart does ship to GSP. It ships to freight forwarders like GSP. However, it will not. Johnny asks how my health is. Good, I think. I don't know. There's things that I'm working on, like I need to get more exercise. My main thing is to eat more. That's a big thing, so that I have more energy. But I definitely don't feel... All the fatigue in my life makes sense. I don't feel like fatigue is a problem anymore at all. Hey, cool. Phelps says, I've been researching dropshipping for a bit. Why do these messages disappear before I can read them? That is so irritating. It's like I'm not meant to read them. Live chat, there we go. I've been researching oh, you said dropping, but I'm assuming you meant dropshipping. Dropshipping for a bit, you're the first person. Why are these messages disappearing? This is so annoying. This is the first time I've done one of these. It's a learning process. Okay, my chat viewing options are live chat, all messages are visible. Okay, that's what I want. Oh, okay. Phelps took some notes and stuff. So I have a question. You just said you took handwritten notes. What are your experience with notes like? Because I used to take notes, but I don't think I've ever like really actually looked at notes that I wrote in my life. It's more about the act of like writing it, and then that like ingrains it in my head.
Yeah. I've never gone back and studied like notes taking in class or anything.
Does that mean that we just like haven't had reason to? Or like
I haven't had reason to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish the chat could just
screwed me over either, so.
Yeah. Makes sense. Where's the chatty thing? I'm looking at all the different settings.
You gotta find one where it makes the chats stay.
Yeah, the chat isn't like it. The messages stay for long enough for you to see the name of someone who messaged you.
That's about it.
And that's about it. Yeah, you could read like a sentence. Yeah, usually when I do live streams, I have a different device that I'm recording with, and then just on the computer I have the chat up so I can read it. But it's kind of hard to see the chat. That's awesome. So Phelps, what's like one or two things you noted? I'm curious of the things you felt was worth to write in notes. What were those things? I wish it showed me numerically, like in the corner, how long the delay is. You know, that'd be useful. Because when you live stream, there's always a delay, and it's kind of weird. It screws with your sense of time a bit when you're interacting with an audience, and there's a delay, and the video is also being recorded, so you're also talking to all the people who are watching the video, not live. But it hasn't been published yet, so... Oh, someone's having trouble with stealth accounts. Is having a stealth account a problem for doing your taxes? How do you deal with that? So, this really depends on why you have a stealth account, really. Because if you're being legal and you're just being a good citizen, then the only reason you have a stealth account is so that you can have an account on eBay. You're not doing anything illegal. It doesn't matter that you're reporting your income to this account. Like, it's fine. You're not doing anything wrong. But say that you're using a stealth account to commit fraud, that's a different story. So it really depends on what you're using the account for, right? It's definitely one of those things that has a sketchiness because it falls in that gray category where it's like, it's not illegal, but it is something that violates a service's terms of use. So, like, It's the same sketchy category as dropshipping on Amazon, for example. Violates the terms of use. You can do it. If you get caught, you get kicked off. It's not gonna get you in legal trouble, but it violates the terms of use. It constitutes that gray area, right? It's not actually illegal, but it counts. So, depends what you're doing. Bum, 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 bum. Raymond asks if there are any listers that work with every source. And no, that's impossible because there's an infinite amount of sources. However, there are listers that are known to work with a lot of different sources. So I don't know too much about Blacklister, but that one might work with a lot of sources as well. Hydra Lister is my understanding of the lister that works with the most sources, the most different sources. Same with SkuGrid. It technically, like, they're like vague general options that work for a lot of things, but don't work super great at one thing, if that makes sense. Phelps says his biggest concern initially was, or his or her, I don't know, biggest concern initially was returns. Oh, so a lot of your notes were... Oh, what? Nice. Okay. For the moment, we appear to be back. Appear to be. Okay, so... Marok said, we want some videos about dropshipping on Amazon. Thanks in advance. That's awesome, man. I don't know too much about it, but I can... So what I can do is talk to people. If you know somebody who knows about dropshipping on Amazon, you can tell them to sign up with me, and we can have a conversation, and I can make a video that way. That's the easiest way for you to use my channel and get access to that information. Understand that I'm probably not going to do something I don't have an interest in just to make a video alone, usually. Okay, Akram says, can I use same account with my friends in different countries? Yeah, so the ideal scenario is at least a two-person team that consists of a person with a US identity and a person with who lives overseas, so they can work, but money goes much, much further for them, right? So that's ideal. And you can have multiple people accessing the same account. Like, that's what virtual assistants are. You have tons of people accessing the same account. Sometimes you might have problems with that, but you just have to learn to use, like, a VPN and understand what happens when you can't access your account. And you have to get in, like, do the password retrieval stuff and have, like, a phone that receives text messages, that kind of thing. Okay. Then Robert asked where we're going. So we're going to Reston, which is where Lucas lives. And I'm staying with him and Eric for like 2 weeks. So that's where we'll be. Andrew Whittington says, you worked at Starbucks for a while. Oh, the chat bubbles came back.
Oh.
I feel like I gotta get through all the questions that were asked. Oh, I can see the chat again. The chat's back. Are we back?
Our pancakes never waffle.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Cracker Barrel wants you to know.
Well, the chat loaded. It's a pretty view. Makes sense that there's no service here.
Yeah. They decide between service and the view.
Yeah. Get to pick, right?
I think so. Cities can be pretty though.
Oh. It appears to be working for the moment. Okay. So let's see. Now, if it disconnects one more time, then it's done. I'm gonna stop trying. But here we go. So I used to work at Starbucks. Andrew asked, at what point did I decide to go self-employed and work for myself? And that isn't really what happened, to be honest. Like I had a more regular job, like 9 to 5 or 7 to 3 technically, and that was like really challenging. I found myself unable to do the work. I was really sick at the time, and I still don't really completely understand what was happening. I knew I was dealing with a lot of fatigue, and I was having trouble just functioning. Like I was having trouble with physical activity, and the job had some like physically demanding tasks to it. I was having a lot of problems. And also I was starting to realize that it wasn't something that I wanted to do forever. Like it was really challenging because I was working for a local business, but it wasn't like, it was my whole life. I didn't really have a social life. I didn't spend much time with my friends, that kind of thing. So that was problematic. And so I quit that job specifically to work at Starbucks because of the flexibility that Starbucks offered. So I took a pay cut, but it didn't matter because I knew that in the long run, that would enable me to get my freedom, right? I ended up working at Starbucks for like 4 years, right? And it started off full-time and then tapered to like 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. And then I would fluctuate. I would go from like working there less or not at all for a couple months to working more if I needed more money, that kind of thing. But the whole point of the job's existence from the beginning was to be phased out. So it wasn't like I just decided to pursue stuff full-time, really. That was always the intention, was to jump on that opportunity whenever it presented itself. And ultimately it wasn't until Grind Camp, because then I got an opportunity to go into a country that the cost of living was so much cheaper, and at the time Mark offered to pay me just to be around. So that enabled me to be willing to like put this life behind me for a bit, and then ultimately that was the turning point, because then I didn't just logically know that you can exist way cheaper elsewhere in the country. I was actively part of it and perceiving it, and ultimately that changed everything. So then when I got back from Grind Camp, it was supposed to just be like 2 weeks in Nicaragua. Then I put in my 30 days notice, and then I quit, because at the time I was earning like $400 to $500 a month from Starbucks. So it was really easy to just like, yeah, because I could just go live in Nicaragua, and the savings alone was more than what the job paid me. So by changing your location and being willing to change your geographical location, like, that allows you to change your life way sooner. Because once you have the free time, once you've established that, and you also have some way to monetize your free time, then everything else just kind of scales up and happens. It's much easier at that point. Okay, there's more questions there. Whoa, we're retaining service. That's cool. Okay.
That's a new thing.
Yeah, that is a new thing. Bum, bum, bum. All right, next thing is from Steven Courtois, I don't know. Is using listing tools bad for my account, and does it negatively affect my results, especially after what happened with those Israeli dudes? So he's referencing an event where in eBay Israel, the makers of a certain software company sued eBay, and there was some stuff going on. So that's what he's referencing when he says that, or at least I think so. But so this is kind of up for debate. As far as I understand it, I don't think the eBay is actively punishing you at the moment for seeing that you're using a dropshipping related tool. That being said, eBay's intention is to show physical products before dropshipped products. Whether they're doing that effectively right now is up for debate, but that is their intention, and that will happen. So, like, that just means that you have to change how you dropship a bit to understand that is the direction that eBay wants, right? Because ultimately you can always dropship. It's always a thing. It's just a matter of understanding the current circumstances and knowing, like, a strategy that considers what's happening now, not what was happening 4 or 5 years ago, right? So Johnny Green says, how do you pay taxes on eBay items, like income taxes? So if you're using PayPal and you have more than $20,000 in transactions, you'll get a 1099 from PayPal, which is PayPal's way of being like, hey, you need to explain to the government what happened with all this money, because it's past the threshold where we are telling the government that this linked to your identity, these transactions are happening. So you then have to file your taxes to do them properly, right? So you're supposed to pay income tax on anything that you earn, really. Like, you can think that because you're not a business, whatever, like, if you earn $1,000 throughout the year, you may think that that's a hobby, but it's taxable income. Like, you just have to add it to your taxes, and then pay your taxes on it. So it depends on your situation, like how you do your taxes. Maybe somebody else does your taxes for you, maybe you do them, you know? It's different for a lot of people, but generally you just, like, that's how it is. You have to pay income tax. Okay, then let's see. Then saving BP says for sale, returns. It sucks. Hopefully it wasn't too big of a loss. For what it's worth, it's usually easier to identify returned, like, it's easy to get sales